It all began on the 15th of February 2016, when Gravity Falls aired its final episode. Gravity Falls was an animated TV show originally created by Alex Hirsch, which aired for 2 seasons, 4 years, from 2012 to 2016, and remains, now and forevermore, my favorite story ever. And that's a high bar, because if I love anything, I love stories. I think before you start doing something, you want to lay down the groundwork for what's to come, and I know that's super pretentious for someone who's just starting a YouTube channel, but this is still what I want to start with. There are millions of channels on this website, millions of them, many with better scripting, better visuals, better production quality, channels that are smarter and funnier and more eloquent. All I have that's unique is me, and the first thing you need to know is that I love stories. I don't really think there's a word in any language to describe the depth of love that I feel for stories and for storytelling. The ancient Greeks had a word, agape, which C.S. Lewis likened to the Christian God's unconditional love for humanity, and while that's not quite accurate, that is the kind of love that I hold for stories. Completely unconditional love. Doesn't matter if they're good or bad, true or false, right or wrong, I love them, and it's been that way for what now seems like most of my life. Even from my youngest years, stories have shaped and changed the way I think, the way I perceive reality, the way I live, who I am, everything. That, in and of itself, really isn't that surprising. A good story has the ability to change the world, after all. They're just the shape that our brains have evolved to store information. Even in those caves 250,000 years ago, in the deep of night, around the fires that cast flickering shadows on the walls, we told each other stories. Stories are so very important to our understanding of the world around us. They're how we learn our basic morals, how we learn communication, how we learn empathy. We see parts of the world that we cannot see with our own eyes, envision worlds that are and worlds that could be worlds that can't. They entice us, they draw us in, they give us dreams of impossible things, they fashion things that cannot be, and I love them. I love stories. There'll always be a group of people who tell me that's stupid, that my love is unsubstantiated and quite frankly wasted, all because they aren't real. And many stories aren't, they're fiction, which is different from reality in many distinct and varied ways, but what they mean is that because it isn't real, it doesn't matter. As if to say that because it isn't real, it cannot affect us, it cannot affect the world around us. And that's just plainly wrong. I mean, just to start with, stories aren't always fictional. Stories are the things that you tell your family around the table at dinner, the things you tell your friends at the bar, the recounts of events that are happening or have happened, whether they be right in front of you or halfway across the world. They are made by the journalists and the reporters, the documentarians, the historians. A story is nothing more than a story. They can be real or fake, it matters not. All that matters is that it's told. And even when they're fake, they change us. They say it's not real, as if that's some kind of qualifier to be able to change the world, as if a story holds no power beyond the constraints of what it tells, as if imagination has had no effect on our reality. But we drew lines in the sand and we called them countries. Our global economy rests upon an agreement of value we've placed on things we deem important. Our imagination helped us to create this world, and stories are just our way of communicating those ideas. Whether those ideas be important rules or explorations of right and wrong, or simply thought experiments. Fiction and reality exist on 2 different layers, and they're not the other, but they do link, intertwining in 1,000 different ways. Art, stories, they are a representation of our hopes and fears and desires, expressing in a more concrete form all the things we cannot say, all the things that may not be real, but which are still important to us. Our emotions, our thoughts, our souls. The express purpose of a story is to make us feel or think, to educate and entertain us by tapping into the emotions we feel and the experiences we've had. Even if it's not real, it matters. The storyteller and audience together. Storytelling is reaction, a reaction of the creator to the world around them. Events in the story happening as a reaction to a change in the world, characters reacting to those events. It is a way for creators to process what is happening, and then share that process and all associated thoughts with the rest of the world. And if you let it matter to you, then it becomes you, the audience, reacting to the things you see or read or hear or feel. A conversation between you and the storyteller. It's in this space where everything, all these disparate elements of a work dissolve into one cohesive story, in that intersection between reality and fiction where the magic really happens. That's where art has the power to change people, where we leave ourselves vulnerable to the minefield of emotion that is a well-crafted story. It's then that we find ourselves connected with the characters like never before, and for the briefest of moments, we feel as they do, think as they do, understand precisely who they are, why they are. So often in our stories, we exaggerate things, take them far beyond what might be considered normal, but to offset that, we also get moments that strike to the very core of who we are. Moments of unreality and fiction are contrasted with emotional honesty, a representation of a truth that aims for something just outside our understanding of it, yet somehow feels like it is. Something that is somehow more real than real. It doesn't have to be real, it doesn't have to be happening here in this world, all it has to do is matter to us. I love stories, I love storytelling. I love this conversation between artist and audience, this attempt to speak our souls out to the world. I love that we can understand others through this abstract method of communication. They've shaped me, changed me, they've given me so much in this world and I've taken so much from them. I love stories, I really, really do. And I say this with my heart open and bursting with love. Because a podcast showed me how to live. A book series taught me about the world. A film forced me to take a leap. An anime taught me how to be happy. A comedy special revealed my deepest insecurities. A video game showed me how to be kind. A cartoon showed me how to love. The story of my life is one built and supported by stories, and there is nothing in this world that I love more.